Hi, everybody. This is Amy Waninger from Lead at Any Level. Welcome to this week's edition of Lead at Any Level Live. I am so excited to be with you today. Today is Monday, June 13th, and I want to share with you something a little bit different today. Usually I'm offering tips on employee engagement, retention, attraction, and building inclusive cultures. And I'll get to all of that. I'm actually going to share some of that with you today as well. But I have a special sneak preview today of the new Including You podcast, which will be launched in just a week and a half on June 23rd and 24th. So let me tell you a little bit about this podcast. While I'm doing that, please let me know in the chat. Where do you go for podcasts? Do you prefer video podcasts, audio podcasts? And if so, where do you go get them? Do you watch YouTube videos, or do you download podcasts through Apple Podcasts or other platforms, Spotify, etc.? I'm curious to know how you'll be reaching, or how we'll be reaching you with this new series that I have coming. I'll also ask, when you're done doing that, if you would please share this video, whether you're watching it live or you're watching the replay. Share this video with the Chief Diversity Officer in your organization, or with the executives who are really focused on building an inclusive culture where you work. And the reason I ask that is because this new podcast will be a great resource for them, but also a great opportunity for them to highlight the work that they're doing and to remember why they do this work in the first place and what's going well in companies just like yours around the country. So, Including You, the goal of the show, I'm going to interview chief diversity officers and other executives. I am talking to them about, number one, why does their company care about diversity and inclusion? Why the focus on an inclusive culture? Because I think it's important to understand kind of the rationale behind these initiatives, especially if you're looking to start something in your own company, or you're looking to further progress in your own company. And then I want to talk about what's going right in these organizations. What's an initiative, or some combination of initiatives that they feel like have really moved the needle for them in terms of their own organizations? And you know what have the results been? The idea here is that we will share what's working and celebrate what's working, because it's so easy in this work to think about the finish line, if there is one, to think about how far we have to go, or what's left to do, or what's next on our list, that sometimes we forget to pat each other on the back for the work that we've already done, for the progress that's already being made. And so today in this live, I want to share with you, number one, a couple of commercials, that little promo spots that we created for this series. But I'm also going to share some audio clips, audiograms from a few of the interviews that I've already done. Now, let me just be very specific about when this will air, where to find it, how to access it. So, Vivian, please stay out of the frame. I'm recording. Thank you. Um, when Working from home, guys, that's part of it. So, let's see. So, when will this air? So, starting June 23rd, on Thursdays at noon, every Thursday at noon, you can join me right here, either on Facebook, LinkedIn, or at my YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/lead at any level. And every Thursday at noon, you'll get a video podcast, which will look like a Zoom interview. We'll be simulcasting to all those platforms on Thursdays at noon Eastern. On Fridays, though, these episodes will be released as an audio podcast. The audio podcast will be available through Living Corporate. Living Corporate is a podcast that's available on all major podcast platforms. It's a Black-owned media company. Their mission is to center and amplify Black and Brown voices in the workplace. And so I've had a longstanding partnership with Zach Nunn at Living Corporate, and I'm really excited to further that relationship with this new podcast. So while you're absorbing some of that, let me share with you a couple of these promo spots that I'm kind of excited to share. Hold on one sec.
Thursdays at noon Eastern on Lead at Any Level's YouTube channel, starting June 23rd.
All right, so that's the promo for the video series. You'll see that probably pop up in your social media feed. And here's the promo for the audio series through Living Corporate. Oops, gotta play that again.
Including You, the new podcast and simulcast by Lead at Any Level, every Friday beginning June 24th.
Okay, so Friday, starting June 24th, wherever you get your podcast, make sure you're subscribed to Living Corporate so you get the audio version. And don't forget to let me know in the chat how you receive your podcast. Do you watch videos? Do you get them on Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or some other platform? All right, now I want to share with you, this is the exciting part of the day because I actually have already recorded about 7 of these interviews. I have another dozen or so lined up. So we've already got a lot of interest in this. I want to thank everyone who watched me a couple weeks ago and who either registered to be a guest or who sent this to somebody and recommended that they be a guest on the show. We've got a really great collection of folks. And also, from all different industries, all different types of organizations. We've got not-for-profits, companies, big corporations. I've got somebody lined up from the U.S. Air Force. I'm really excited about talking to him. And, all different kinds of industries, some higher education institutions. So I just want to share a little bit with that of them with you right now. So the first one, episode 1, will be Tahiti Watson. She's from Canopy Children's Solutions. Canopy provides services and resources to kids, in terms of behavioral health and other resources that they might need. And Tahiti talks about in this episode how they had to build trust in their own organization so then they could transform the way they serve their clients. Take a listen to this.
Forget to celebrate the good things that we're doing, and it's very emotional because you talk about the trauma that our employees bring to the workplace, and if we don't start healing and giving space for mental health issues, and how do we expect our employees to do that for our children and our families and our communities? We can't. The pandemic has brought a lot of this to surface. It's almost like a therapy session. Like you come out like, gosh, I knew it was down there, but I need to bring it out. And so we have to be realistic when we're building that foundation to embrace all employees.
Episode 1 with Tahiti Watson will air by video on June 23rd. And then on audio on June 24th. And I want to be clear that when you watch the video version, it's going to look like a Zoom conversation, like it's Zoom interview. It won't be the audiogram, with the little graphic that goes all the way across. So it will be an actual video interview. I want to share with you the next episode that I want to share with you today. I believe it's episode 2. This is with Dr. Rayshawn Eastman. He works at Mount St. Joseph University in Cincinnati, Ohio. And at Mount St. Joseph, they've really created sort of this, I refer to it as like a customer experience journey, but it's really a community experience journey that engages the community. And he talks a lot about design thinking and why this is so important at a university like Mount St. Joseph. Take a listen.
Important for universities, and particularly at Mount St. Joseph, that we're helping prepare students to engage with people that are different from them and learning from people that are different. And that has to be done in very intentional ways, because at the end of the day, as much as we don't like to think about this, but we're preparing our students for a workforce that is ever changing and diverse. And I argue that their time at college or on campus is where they can develop those skills to work with people that are different and develop a appreciation for what people have to bring to the table, no matter what their identities or backgrounds are.
I just realized as I'm listening to these that I'm talking from children to college students. Now we're going to talk about people who are working in the construction industry. So Jorge Quesada is the Chief Diversity Officer at Granite Construction, and he's talking in his episode about really building with intention. What are the things that the construction industry in general needs to do to make sure that they have enough people in the workforce to continue the important work of building our nation's infrastructure, but also what does Granite Construction need to do specifically to stand out from their competitors as an employer of choice? And so I've prepped just a little bit of that interview for you as well. Take a listen.
Industry, we're strengthening our position in the sense of convening and having other companies like work with us to do that, because this is an industry solve that we have to do. And ultimately, long term, we have to step back and build the strategies that are necessary to build pipelines and talent pools outside of the normal partnerships that we have and the normal convening that we do as an industry, meaning that we have to consider apprenticeship programs specifically for Granite. How do we educate in the communities where we live and work? How do we expose people to things, to jobs like ours with degrees or no degrees, and be very intentional about having an impact with that?
Jorge is a powerhouse in this space in the construction industry, and I was so lucky to have him. Finally, the last one I'll share with you today. So this one comes from episode 7. This is with Ivelisse Crespo, and Ivelisse is Chief Diversity Officer for Reed Smith LLP. They're a global legal firm, and in this episode, they talk about what it is that Reed Smith is doing to create sort of some radical transparency around their diversity and inclusion initiatives. You know, they've got an annual report that is released annually, of course, to talk about what are the benchmarks and where are they headed and and why this is so important from a cultural standpoint at Reed Smith. Here we go with Ivelisse.
Recognize that within every single person, there are multiple identities going on, and all of those identities converge to create the people that we're working with. Impacts values, impacts how we approach issues, how we tackle client matters. And so I think we have really learned the value of, and it's something that shows in all of our practices, from how we prioritize staffing client matters to how we prioritize the allocation of work, which is something that we're working on now. And I'm very proud of that because I think it's something that really does set us apart.
Okay, so if you want to hear about what's working to create inclusive cultures in companies just like yours, all across the United States, across a variety of industries, across a variety of organization types, with people, you know, really in every type of work, we're going to really celebrate what's working well and what you can do to emulate that success. Again, please share this video with the executives in your organization who are focused on employee engagement and retention, who are focused on building inclusive cultures so that they can have a sustainable competitive advantage for the future. If you want to catch these episodes, you can follow me right here, wherever you're watching this video, either on Facebook, LinkedIn, or on the Lead at Any Level YouTube channel. You can subscribe right there, right now at www.youtube.com/c/lead at any level, or just put Lead at Any Level in the YouTube search box. It'll pop right up. Subscribe to us there so you'll get a notification when we go live. And if there's somebody in your life that would be a great guest for this show, please send them my way so I can include them in the rapidly expanding season 1. Now, not only should you catch the videos, you should also go subscribe to Living Corporate. They are available at, let me get this up real quick. I didn't have this one ready. living-corporate.com. And there we go. So go to living-corporate.com and follow all the great work that Zach Nunn and his team at Living Corporate are doing. Make sure you subscribe to the Living Corporate podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And again, let me know in the chat where you plan to listen to this incredible new show we have lined up for you. I am so excited. I'm grateful for your time and attention today, and I look forward to sharing all these amazing guests and their stories with you. Have a great day.